We are back. It is the PinSeekers show. We're breaking it down with JBC, Big T, and myself, Mangone. We're talking about the VALERO Texas Open, and we're 1 week from the Masters, so we got Big T with the Masters hat on. Big T, it's that time of year. I know you're getting excited, ramping up for it, but are you pumped for the Masters coming up in the VALERO Texas Open?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on. Baseball's been on fire at Run Pure too. Bryce another 100K the other night. Bunch of members doing good. I was confident coming into baseball season, but I'm even more confident now. Like the stuff we're putting out, Stats has a new boom rating. I think they're working on a pitcher profile too. We got slate builders where JBC and Dan and Stats Bryce put up cores. I got a page too where I'm putting up some splits, guys, and K Phallic 3. We literally have everything. Anything you could want for baseball, we got for baseball. But like Mangone was saying, golf, freaking everything. We got NASCAR's been crushing. So much stuff at Run Pure, so definitely check it out. But Masters next week. I always struggle a little bit the week before the big events just because I wonder, like, in my head, and I probably shouldn't, like, who's working on something, trying to get ready for Augusta, who's trying to get into Augusta. There's a bunch of these guys in the field trying to get in next week. There's just so many scenarios the week before big tournaments that I struggle with. It's just me personally, but we still got money to win, so it's time to dive in and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I always worry, and it's probably a dumb thing to worry about, but I always worry about the guys that, like, if you're like a person that you think you're going to contend to win, like let's say you're Aubert and you start off kind of shitty, do you just fucking call it and fucking walk off? Because I remember a few years ago, Dustin Johnson was like the most expensive guy in this tournament, and he just like, it might not have been the Houston Open, but it was the week before the Masters, and he literally started like 3 over and just walked off the fucking course.
Yeah,
and he was like 60% owned. So I always worry about that happening, but it probably won't.
There has to be some truth to it, though, too. You put yourselves in there, and it's only a couple guys, like you said. There's not that many guys.
It would have to be a top guy.
But I could see Aubert doing that. If he's like on the cut line and he's got to make a 15-footer to make the cut, I could see him sliding it a little outside there to not have to hang out for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think those are like such low scenarios. And obviously once you get into the situation, like I get it. Like if you're in the spot where it's like, okay, grind it out when I'm already like T60 and have no shot of winning, like what was the outcome to get there, right? Like it was a low percentage outcome to get that. So I just think it's a lot to like, I wouldn't overthink it, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't guess at who's going to do it.
Correct. And I think it matters who's in the field every single time, right? If you look at it, like, for instance, like the one example, I don't know if you were saying the same example I was thinking of, but I remember Dustin Johnson at like the Minnesota, it was one of the Minnesota courses, and then he like completely shanked it. I don't know if you were thinking of the same one, JBC, but like that event, he was the only stud at the event, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it kind of depends who's there, and you could make an argument, Ludwig is like the main guy there, but there's other options, right? Fleetwood, Cantlay, like these guys aren't losers, you know what I mean? So that event, I remember it was just like,
the Detroit event, he had to play because sponsors. And he just like fucking sucked on purpose.
Yeah, that's why he had to show up for the Tuesday BS, the Wednesday stuff, like shake hands with everyone because it was one of his main sponsors. So I think that was a little bit more of an anomaly, but I get exactly what you guys are saying, and it's it's a fun event, but obviously everyone's excited for the Masters, which will be next week, of course. Also, we have a really nice 3-weekend stretch. I will say this. I think JBC will like the next 3 weekends. You get the NCAA tournament, then you get the Masters, followed by WrestleMania. So there you go.
I'm going to UFC next week in Miami, and then I'm going to WrestleMania. So it'll be a lot of travel.
Yeah, I'm sure WrestleMania will be a good
WrestleMania this year.
Vegas.
Yeah, it's Vegas. It's a good setup this year. It's the Cena one, so it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a nice 3-week stretch. So I am excited.
WrestleMania 2 nights again, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. That all like the big pay-per-views are now 2 nights. There's no reason for it not to be, because they just have too big of a roster. So if it's a big,
and then you don't have to sit there for 8 hours. You only have to sit there for 3 or 4 hours and then do it again.
Correct, because the issue is when they were sitting there too long, you'd get to the main event and everyone would be gassed, and then the crowd's not there for the main event. So
I remember in New York, it was like when Becky Lynch and Ronda came out, like the crowd was dead. Like everybody was ready to go.
Some of the matches just last too long too. Like I like it, but like you can't have an hour match. That's
Yeah. Although the Rocks match last year was an hour, and I was into it.
I mean, The Rock might be one of the exceptions too. Like he's good, but yeah,
it's just one of those events that like the crowd matters, right? Like I know we saw stuff
you
without
have to have a crowd. How boring would it be if the crowd wasn't into it?
Nothing got hurt worse during COVID than wrestling.
Those were so bad.
So bad.
It was like in the Apex from the UFC. They're coming out there wrestling.
Oh man.
All right, well, let's dive in and talk about the Valero. We got 4 golfers above 10K to discuss. Obviously, we'll talk about ownership. We'll talk about some of the best plays in each range. We got Ludwig. He is going to be 17% owned, it says. It looks like all these guys are going to be owned, right? Like no one's going to be too high. No one's going to be too low. If there was a guy that's going to be the chalk in this range, it's Corey Connors, it looks like, at 10.1K. But I'm seeing him at 27%. I'm seeing Fleetwood as the lowest at 15. It's not that big of a deal. So not something really to mention too much, but clearly going to be good golfers and in this range, and only $700 difference between them all, right? So I don't think it matters that much. Obviously, when you're making like, 2v2s and 3v3s, maybe it does matter. But point is, this isn't like Scotty Scheffler versus Rory, where last week, even though Scotty finished higher than Rory was on more winning lineups. So obviously he wasn't on probably optimal lineups, but he was on more winning lineups, even though the T5 was better than the T2. That won't really matter.
Because Minwoo won, though. Like if Minwoo didn't win, it would have been very different. But
sure, but that was part of the reason, because Minwoo won, right? Like, yes, so that's fair. But point I'm getting at,
Kim clone Minwoo Lee.
Except a foot taller.
Yeah. I also didn't notice I don't know if everyone else noticed that last week, because I noticed that Rory he was on the winner, and I was like, that doesn't make much sense. Like, there has to be a reason why. And then, of course, Minwoo Lee winning made the sense for that. But JVC, talk about this top end range. There's 4 golfers. Maybe you'll have exposure to all. Maybe you'll fade some and go overweight on others. Who are the golfers you like in this range?
I mean, you pretty much explained it. They're all very similar. Corey Connors is the best play, but not by much. Cantlay is the worst play, but not by much. I'll have all 4 of them. There's not really much to differentiate. I mean, in my 3K teams, 3K teams, I probably will play 1 Aubert, 1 Fleetwood, 1 Connors. Maybe not a Fleetwood. Probably won't play Cantlay up there. But, there's not a lot to separate them. They're all very similar.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Big T, you're known for taking, bigger stands up top at times. Curious if you have any big stands you're going to take here up in the 10K range.
Yeah, it's no different for me. First of all, I agree with JBC's takes that they're all very similar. If I was like trying to separate, though, I think it's clear for me that Connors, I know he's the top owned, but man, he's got 3 straight top 8s. He's won here 2 of his last 5 times he's played the event. I mean, he just checks everything for me. He's always on fire this time of year, too, going to Augusta. Underpriced next week. I'm sure people will jam him next week, which I'll be one of them.
We predicted this a month ago that Corey Connors would be 35% of the Masters.
It's every year, and then he always tails off a little bit after that. It's like, I don't know. Every year's the same for Connors. But, man, I have to play him over these guys. Aubert is definitely more talented. And I know we said what we said at the beginning. I just think he's gearing up for the Masters. I'm not saying he won't win this week. He's the most talented by far. But I don't know with Aubert. I don't trust it as much. Put it that way. I think Fleetwood wants to win more. Cantlay is always. I can't play Cantlay either. Like, he's fine. I mean, he's a good play, but I think it's just Connors for me up top. Granted, in my 150, I'll definitely be playing some of these, but I'll be under the field. So, like, if Aubert is 20%, I want like 10%. Fleetwood 20, I want 10. Cantlay 20, I want 10. And then Connors 30, I want like 60. I'm going to be way above on Connors. So, above Connors, under the other 3 for me.
All right, JVC, who will be your highest guy in this range and then lowest guy if you had to pick?
Connors at the top and Cantlay at the bottom.
When you like a guy like Connors, because you're so good at these 150s, what if he's 30%? What percent do you want of Connors?
I bet he's got like
30's high. I'm 30. I probably want 30.
You want so whenever they're high. If I guaranteed you he's 30, you just want. Boom,
I don't want to
30.
sell it.
Yeah. You don't want him
Basically.
to beat you.
Like, I'll be over on Tommy Fleetwood. That's probably the person I will end up over on.
Yeah, and I would also probably say like 30's high, where like that's not going to hurt you that much if he does well, and you're just banking on I would assume all your other lineups that have 30% of them, like they're just better than the field, and you think
Right. Yeah, you rely on construction at that point.
Correct. That's exactly what I was thinking. So I thought maybe I could see you getting to 40%, but the problem with why you won't get the 40 is there's so many guys in that range. Like if there was less options, like if you eliminated one of them, then maybe you'd probably be up to 40 or 45. That would change the ownerships a little bit too.
I like the 9Ks and 8Ks a lot more than most weeks as well.
Okay.
So that changes things also.
All right, that's good to know. Even the fact that you said 8K is interesting. So because we typically don't like the 8K range on the show, we don't talk about it too much. But let's get to the 9K range. Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth at 9.7, which feels egregious whenever I see Jordan Spieth that expensive these days. We got Keegan, Akshay, Berger, and Denny McCarthy. So we got like 6 guys in this range, JBC. It sounds like you like this 9K range. Is Jordan Spieth on that list? And who are some of the other golfers you like here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Spieth is certainly a decent play. I wouldn't put him at the top of the range, but he's, no worse than third here. I think the best play in the range is Batia at 9,300. Only 22-1. He's kind of getting close to Cantlay's odds there and significantly cheaper. Second best play in the range for me would be Matsuyama, 9,900. I mean, to me, I would group Matsuyama with the front 4 rather than this 9K group, in terms of how diverse you want to get, because 9,900 is kind of too high of a price to play 2 of the top, depending on how many guys you're going to play at the base. Third best play in the range is Spieth. Texas, he's played the course a lot. He always plays the tournament. Then Denny would be next at 9K.
Yeah, I also should mention ownership-wise, Spieth is the only guy that will be in the single digits. The highest owned guy is likely Denny McCarthy at 28%. JBC, how much do you think you'll have of him versus the field? Because again,
Denny McCarthy, what?
It says 28%. I'm just reading what it says.
Oh God, there's no way.
That's I could see the logic, but I'm not going that high on anybody this week.
Fabersim seriously got him 28%. I'd bet my left nut. There is no way.
Okay, but like you bet your left nut, but if it's 25%, is it like that?
I mean, ain't even going to be close to that. 28? Oh, that's crazy.
I doubt they're that off on it. You know what I mean?
Church manager Johnny Two Bets does make a good point here. Hideki was the first person that came to mind for me, for somebody that would just walk off the fucking course.
100% number 1 on the list. He went through a couple years ago here. He went through 2022. Like he is top of the list of some dude that would walk.
Yeah, he's number 1 on that list.
We haven't had a Hideki withdrawal in a while, right?
He's the most likely. I couldn't even.
No, he withdrew like
him,
a month ago.
Did he? I can't remember. I'm just trying to think.
He said he tweaked his back and
Yeah. He definitely has like 2 to 3 back tweaks a year.
He doesn't give a fuck about withdrawing. Some of these guys care. He does not care.
Yeah.
Which I honestly agree more with him than the other side.
Oh,
what's best for you? Screw the rest of the people.
If I had that much money, I would not be willing to get up for $50,000 if I had 100 million. No.
I guarantee he does at a lot of events too, where if he doesn't start good, he just dicks around out there too, for sure.
Yeah, that definitely makes some sense there. All right, Tony, talk about the 9K range. Maybe you like a lot of golfers in this range, maybe you don't, but you clearly have a take on Denny McCarthy if he's 28% owned.
I'll gladly take action on these other guys versus him. I'll take some man going. We're even right now.
Here's the thing. No, Tony, you do this show all the time.
You usually like talk, though.
No, time out. My turn to talk. My turn. JBC, did I once say Did I once say I like Denny McCarthy, JBC?
Say what?
Did I say I like Denny McCarthy ever there?
No, you said he was going to be high on.
That's all I said. I didn't say I liked him, Tony, so stop. He does this. He takes something.
I'm trying to give me some action here.
Man,
I don't want action on Denny McCarthy.
My turn.
I just know what Tony does. Tony, he finds a play that he wants to go against and tries to push it on me. You're not pushing Denny McCarthy.
I do want to go against Denny.
Yeah, you got to have an adversary. If you don't have one, you make it up. It's like Michael Jordan he's convinced himself that everybody thinks he sucks. You know, like you gotta find it.
I
think Denny's by far the worst play in this whole range. Like, yeah, see, K. Reed. I agree with K. Reed.
We don't believe anything K. Reed says unless it's an evil thing. So,
my two least favorite guys in the range are for sure Denny and Hideki. Like, I was gonna say it about Hideki before JBC even brought it up. Like, and look at his finishes lately. He doesn't have good form. I mean, he has no top 10s in his last 7-8 events, and he's most likely, he's gearing up for Augusta. I just, again, I'm going to take more stands than JBC. He's definitely better than me at 150, 100%. Some weeks I'm going to win it all, and some weeks I'm going to get none back the way I play. But I don't like Hideki at all. But I do agree with him on the 9K. Akshay. So we've reached the point of the season where I'm leaning fully into how guys look, and he looks good. I mean, we just talked about Hideki's form. He's got 3 top 10s his last 4 events. He won the event last year. Again, like if I start my teams with Connors and Akshay, that's chalky, but I can get different at the bottom. I love those guys. And Keegan, I like Keegan a lot too. I'm not a Keegan guy either. I hate Keegan, but he's playing good golf. He looks good. He looks good at this course.
Keegan wants to be on the Ryder Cup team without having to pick himself.
What'd you say?
He wants to be on the Ryder Cup team without.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to be the coach or the captain, captain.
He wants to play and be the captain. He wants both.
You think they'll let him do both?
I mean, if he qualifies on his own merit, yeah.
You think? I thought he had to give it up if he.
No. He could even pick himself, but he said he's not going to do it.
That'd be sweet though if he.
Yeah, he wants to make it, so he's fucking grinding.
Yeah. I mean, I love the 9Ks though. I'd be fine. I don't know if I can fade Connors on like a main team. I like him too much, but I don't hate the idea of playing a couple of these 9Ks and skipping all those top guys. So I love even Berger. I think Berger's a pretty good play in here too, a little bit lower on. So
there's no
I'm
bad
on the whole range. I hate Hideki and Denny though. Those are the two that I'm off of for sure.
All right, that's Denny, and who's the last one you said?
I hope Snyder likes Denny. Snyder, where you at, Mitch? I want some Snyder bucks. I hope you like Denny.
Snyder was in the chat. Snyder, if you're here and you want Denny bucks, let Tony know, and maybe you guys can create a wager there for the event. He's not a soldier. He's too expensive to be a soldier. So if you want Snyder soldiers, feel free to check it out on Twitter. Let's get to the 8K range, which JBC said he liked this range, which was surprising to me, especially when I look at some of the golfers in this range, because JBC doesn't typically like Tony Finau. This is definitely a Siwoo Kim chat. Me and JBC are big fans of that, even though Tony's not. Bud Cauley's 8-3, which sounds egregious. Sam Stevens is in the 8K range. I mean, there's definitely some egregious golfers in this 8K range. The guys that are going to be single digits are Keith Mitchell, Poston, and Bud Cauley. Highest owned guy, we'll see if there's an egregious one. It's Siwoo Kim, right? Siwoo Kim and Sam Stevens look like the 2 highest owned guys in this range. JBC, I know you're going to like Siwoo Kim, but who are some of the other guys you're going to like?
Yeah, Siwoo Kim at the top for this range for sure, by a substantial margin. But, I see everybody in this range really being playable other than Keith Mitchell and Cauley. Finau, Sam Burns, Poston, Tom Kim, McNeely, and Stevens, I'm going to have a decent amount of all of them. I can't really, like, between Finau, Burns, and Poston, that would be the next group. It's kind of hard to differentiate between the 3 of them. Gun to my head, I'm probably taking Poston. But I think they're all good plays. And then 8,100 and 8,000 for McNeely and Sam Stevens. I mean, totally fair price for guys that are in the 45-1 range. I like the 8K range a lot more than I usually do. And that's probably because Scheffler and Rory aren't in the fucking field. So there's nobody to take all that value up or that win equity up at the top. So, yeah, I mean, if I had to rank this range, Siwoo Kim, JT Poston, and then Tom Kim would be 3, and then McNeely and Stevens.
All right, Tony, we'll see if you like Siwoo Kim in this range. But 8K is typically not a range that we like. Do you not like it this week as well?
So I've been trying to talk myself into this range, but I also want to lean into recent form, and these guys just don't have any recent form whatsoever in this group. But I do think, and I do agree with what JBC's saying, where we don't have the same top range we've always had, which means, or we've had lately. So a lot of these guys have win equity in here that they normally wouldn't have. Siwoo, Burns, Finau, Poston, all these guys, Tom Kim. And the weird thing is, so I must just be off with ownership in my head because it's acting like Bud Cauley's getting ownership. What? What?
I mean, he's the one that's been playing well.
God, that's crazy. Yeah, two top sixes in a row. What does Saber have him at ownership, man, going?
I see it's at like 9%.
Yeah, so some of these, because I got it up where it shows like a few different sites, it's a little higher on there, but I can't imagine that that's super accurate. I would think he's got to be lower, just because a lot of people do look at win odds, kind of like JVC and I like to look at, and so ranking though, I actually like Siwoo the best in this range too, just because of the event, where I just feel like he can pop off in these, and like we say every week, he could also suck, which he probably will. I mean, the dude has no top 10. I can't look at the recent form with this Ranger. It makes me not want to play any of them because
you can never look at the recent form. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, in golf it doesn't matter.
No. For Siwoo Kim specifically.
Oh, I was like in golf. Yeah.
No, for Siwoo Kim specifically, it doesn't fucking matter.
I do agree because he'll have 10 straight bad events and then he'll win. I totally agree with that, 100%. And that's why I like him here. And there's not a lot of guys at the top. I like Siwoo more than I kind of would put the same exact stuff around Finau, where he'll just randomly play good too, where he hasn't been great, but he does have one top 10, and he's just cheap. He feels cheap. He's not that much different than like Corey Connors, even though Connors is playing great. Overall, though, he's not that much better. So I like those guys. Man, Burns is killed. I don't think I can do Burns. I've tried him a few times, and man, he's been so bad. He doesn't even have a top 20. I can't do Burns. I changed my mind on him. I guess Bud Cauley's the one I'm most torn on. He's playing good, but I don't think he's in the same class as these guys. So I think I'm off him. Give me Siwoo and Finau in this range, and Poston. I like Poston too. So I'm on those three with JBC.
All right, those are the three that these guys like in the 8K range. Let's get to the 7K range and talk about that. Tony, we talked about Ricky Fowler last week. He got a solid T52. I almost bet you on that one. I think I was going to bet Knapp. I don't know if you would have agreed, but let's see if it would have won. Let's see. Oh yeah, probably would have won.
Knapp would have had to beat him last week.
I don't think you would have said yes though. But that was the one I was debating. I didn't want to talk too much shit about Ricky, but yeah, let's talk about the 7K range though. There is one guy that has a crazy high ownership in this range, in the 7-9 range, and he is 24%. It is Ben Griffin, and we've seen Ben Griffin play well. Jake Knapp, I like him a lot at his ownership. I think he's a pretty good play at 7.9K. You got Gary Woodland there, Matt Fitzpatrick, Kurt Kitayama, Fowler, Ryan Gerard. I know he's a guy that we've played. And then we'll go all the way to the 7.5 range. Your boy Brian Harmon is there as well, Big T. But JVC, we'll go to you first. What are you doing with chalky Ben Griffin and the rest of this range?
I mean, that's kind of crazy. Ben Griffin's a worse play than Stevens and McNeely. And he's also a worse play than Gary Woodland. So in my shit, he's probably going to get squeezed a little bit. I'm not really too high on Ben Griffin. Like, he's a fine play, but like I'm not like gonna jam it. He's not like optimal or anything for me. The one who is Gary Woodland, coming off that crazy 4th round last week. You know, he's got similar odds to Stevens. He's cheaper. You know, I think that the guy I'm jamming in this range is for sure Gary Woodland. I mean, I guess Ben Griffin's next, but you know, if you look down at Kitayama and Lee Hodges, I'm going to have them more than Ben Griffin. I'm going to have Hoey, Novak, those guys. I'm going to have them more than Ben Griffin. So, yeah, I'm if he's 24%, I'll be way under that.
Yeah, I mean, that seems high, but people like the Ben Griffin click. I will say that. They do like the click. I don't know if they like it at 7.9K. Tony, I wonder if you like it at 7.9, and are you playing your boy Brian Harmon?
My boy Harmon struggled, so I can't contradict myself totally where I say recent form matters except when I like the guy. I can't do that. He's just been so bad. I keep trying Harmon. Yeah. I mean, his price is nice, and next week I'm sure he's going to be super cheap again and tempt me, but man, I kind of hope I hope he does good this week when I don't really play him, and then I can play him next week, or I'm going to play him either way. So maybe I don't hope that because then he'll be lower owned. But I'm not playing Griffin. I'm more on JBC's side where if he's going to be chalky, I'm not playing Ben Griffin. And the guy right below him, Gary Woodland, 2 top 10s here the last 4 years. He looked great last week, almost won. His form even before that, I know he missed a few cuts, but before those missed cuts, he looked awesome. I think Gary Woodland is a great pivot off of Ben Griffin, and I'm assuming Gary Woodland can't be owned just because of the way it all sets up. Granted, I've been off on ownerships. What does it say, Mangone? What is Woodland?
Woodland looks like he's going to be 8%.
Yeah, no chance. He's going to be way above that.
Okay, I could definitely see the Griffin ownership going down and like the Woodland going a little up. I mean, Jake Knapp is in that range too, which I do think people like to play him. And he says he's going to be 6. Maybe both those guys get the 10, right? Knapp and Woodland, but we'll see.
Knapp,
Knapp
is one of the worst plays in the range. I don't think he gets owned.
I think who doesn't get owned?
Knapp. I don't think he's a good play at all.
Yeah, I mean, being right above Griffin, Woodland, right below like those guys that are in the low 8Ks, tough spot for Knapp for sure. I like Woodland. I mean, he just looked really good last week. I think someone said he needs to win to get in the Masters, I assume. I don't know all the little stuff as far as that, and I wouldn't put that much emphasis anyways. He's going to try. He's not the type of guy that's walking off. He's going to try to win. So I like Woodland. Harry Hall, I'm kind of off. Fowler's look terrible. Kitayama's look terrible. I don't really love the rest of this range. Ryan Gerard, I do think he's played pretty good golf, but the odds I don't love. I hate the high 7Ks more than I have in a while. I honestly don't. Actually, I like Ryan Fox a little bit towards the bottom. He looked pretty good last week. I don't love this range, though. I really don't. I'm on Woodland. And that's really the only guy I like a bunch in this range.
All right, let's get to the lower 7K range.
I agree with Matty Ice. We need the cheesehead update. We got to get it in the picture. We got to see how much stew is in there right now.
No, maybe next week, the Masters. We can't blow our load at the Valero Open, right? That's not it. So maybe next week we'll get the cheesehead out, but. I have taken some money from there recently, so I think it's lost more money.
You've been digging into it. It's not overflowing anymore.
There's this pizza place I go to sometimes, and they do cash only. Well, they don't do cash only. They give you a discount if you go cash only. So it's like, okay, like I may as well use my cash rather. So if I go there, I go to
running that tax grift.
Yeah. So if I go there, I jump in and I grab the cash. So I've been hitting the pizza.
Do you wear the cheesehead in though, or do you just leave the cheesehead, take the cash
with the money?
No.
With the money hanging out of the hat. That's the alpha move. When he pays, he takes it off. It out.
Yeah, that would be good. The guy at the pizza place is a character though. He swears by Joe Rogan. It sounds like he's I'm not saying Joe Rogan doesn't have good content or good stuff, but he's like a big believer. So
So he's like Snyder.
Yeah, he's just an interesting guy. He's got clearly one-sided takes, and he's very firm on them, and they're 100% right. So, but it's good.
That sounds like the entire country right now. Everyone has one-sided takes.
Yeah, he told me he's not going to be here in 4 years. He's moving.
Oh, he's on that one.
Yeah, he said 4 years he's out of this.
What if Trump runs again?
maybe that would change the opinion. I'm not sure.
Trump Obama, the election to end all elections.
That would be great.
Just change the rules and run him against
Trump Obama would be an amazing election, actually.
Dude, if he changes the rules, then Obama's going to run. That has to happen. It has to happen.
That would be hilarious.
I haven't heard that take. That's actually a really good point. I didn't realize. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Imagine the ratings if those two ran against each other. You would get insane ratings before the world ends.
Yeah, it would be elite. If there's a sign the world's ending, that's a good sign. Those two running against each other in the last term. But all right, 7K and below range. So that 7.4 to 7K range, the lower sevens. We'll see if it's better than that 7.8 to 7 or 7.9 to 7.5 range. Because honestly, most weeks we like that range a little bit more, but this range this week I didn't like it that much, and I think there's some better plays here. Patrick Rogers is one guy that everyone always talks about for sure. Chris Kirk, he's a guy that shows some upside at times. But it's not an amazing range, I think, this lower 7K range. I mean, there's some decent golfers, but it's the Valero Texas Open, right? So maybe we'll just dive down to more 6K guys and go up and grab some of those 9K guys even more. JBC, what do you think of this lower 7K range? Because when I look at it, I mean, there's not a lot that really is sticking out to me. And when you look at ownership as well, the only guy I'm seeing getting above 10% is Alex Smalley. I'm sure someone else might get a little bit higher, but not a lot of guys are getting owned in this range.
I think there are 3 clear best plays in this range, and everybody else kind of sucks. Best play, Bo Hostler. Great course history.
He's a Texas guy too, right?
Yes, he went to UT. That's right.
Yeah.
So Bo Hostler at 7,200, best play in this range. Second, as you mentioned, Alex Smalley, but he'll be a little chalkier. He's been playing really well recently. So I'm definitely going to be leaning into Alex Smalley some. Third, Matt Wallace, fucking 7,100. He's a bit of a hit or miss guy that Tony hates, like Siwoo Kim, but I'm going to be on him here. And pretty much everybody else in the range sucks. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a great range. And again, a lot of people like to pepper this range typically, it feels like, because we have a Scotty and a Rory to go grab, but we don't have the Scotty and Rorys to go up to this week. Big T, talk about this lower 7K range.
Yeah, I mean, this field's super weak when you get down into some of these guys. Usually I love the low 7s, but I mean, Justin Rose even looks expensive down in here at 73 after how cheap he's been. The guy I keep playing that has been decent is Salinda at 7,300. He got a 3rd and 11th, and I just think he's pretty talented. So when I can get some talent down in this range, I'm going to play him for sure. Smalley, I think you got to play Smalley. Jesper Svensson, no like really good finishes, but I like his talent level. And my favorite guy though is Eric Cole. Like we've been on him at times, and then he played bad.
I hate him. I want him to die.
He does die like half the weeks when he misses a cut, but the last 2 weeks he found some really good form. 12th and 15th. His odds are pretty good in this range. God, he does always screw me though. Like he freaking screws me every single time.
Every fucking time.
Every time. And coming off 2 good starts, he's probably going to suck again. But man, he looked good to me last week, so I have to have a little interest. Bo Hostler, I'm always going to like him in the cheap range. Another guy that's played pretty good is Sam Ryder. I don't love his odds. I don't love his profile, but he has played pretty good. I mean, there's no missed cuts in there. He's made 10 straight cuts or something, a 14th in there. He finished 3rd here 2 years ago. So I think he's decent. Man, what happened to Cameron Young? My God, he's bad. I don't know what Matt Wallace. It was funny when JBC was talking about Matt Wallace. I was looking at him like, because I usually like Matt Wallace. Him and Woodland like kind of sync up to me because I think they finished 1-2 in a U.S. Open one time at Pebble or something. Where I think it was when maybe I'm totally off base, but that's what's in my head. And man, Matt Wallace has been so bad though. 5 missed cuts in the last 6 events. Whew, but
I'm playing a fucking.
It was funny that you said it. Literally, it was on my screen, and I was looking at him as you said that I was going to hate it. I saw it. But Victor Perez, I think I talk about Victor Perez every week on this show, and that Jeff Coley just asked. I just like him when he's cheap. He's the type of guy that can win events. Like he's been in contention in big events before, and he's 7,100, so I'm going to take a chance. Val Maki's a guy we always like too. He finished 4th last week. Definitely like him. Mac Meissner, we talk about him a lot. I feel like all these guys we talk about a ton because they're always in the cheap range. But Mac Meissner, I definitely like him. And McGreevy, my boy McGreevy that I keep playing down there too. So no one like totally sticks out to me. I don't think it's like an insane range, but I do like a lot of the guys down here. Max Homa too. I can't play Max Homa.
Yeah, I don't think you can do Max Homa.
How far has Max Homa come? What are you playing of him, JBC? I know you're playing some.
Max Homa's in the pool. I was just looking at it. Like, yeah.
At
like
7K, you would have told me last year that he'd be 7K in this field. Like I would have laughed.
He's literally 2%.
Maybe his wife left him.
Something happened. Maybe his husband left him. Yeah, I mean, who knows with this dude?
This range is not good.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy to see Max Homa at 7K, but it's
And
definitely a rough
then,
7K.
like, he's down here with freaking Doug Gim and Chan Kim, and
I'm taking Doug Gim over Max Homa.
So am I. I'm taking all. There's no chance I'm playing Max until I see it. I gotta see him show me something before I can get in.
Tony,
He'll come out and play well next week.
Tony, here's a good bet idea. I'm not going to do it, but if I told you get Max Homa, who would you force me to take against Max?
I got to take Max.
Yeah, you have to take Max Homa, but you also get to pick my golfer.
Cameron Young.
Man, who do I like Max more than down here?
Yeah. I'm making you work.
I mean, Justin, I like him. I don't like anyone more. I don't want to play home. I don't want to play this game. I don't like anyone more than him.
I like this game.
Taking Rio Hisatsune over.
I'll give you Cam Young. Like, he stinks. Those are the two that stink.
A good wager would be you get Max Homa, I get Cam Young. If both miss the cut, it's a push. But if only one will probably make
No push on miss the cut. I want to see who shoots plus 12.
Oh, God.
That would be a hilarious sweat because your guy would be like plus 10 and then the other guy's plus 8. And you're just sweating, making pars and stuff. It would be hilarious. Oh, man. All right. Well, that was fun. Let's get to the 6K range, though. We don't like the 7K, so I doubt we're going to – I don't know. Maybe we will like more in the 6K range. Maybe we're going to have to find guys to play. So I've talked about in the 6K range, you want to just look for upside. I mean, it doesn't sound – I think a lot of people just think I want to find a guy to make the cut, but that's not the case. You want to just search for upside. And when you find the upside, those are the weeks that you spike. I know Tosti misses cuts, but he has upside, right? And he just played well in Texas. I think Tosti's a good guy to go back to. So I'm interested in going back to him. No one in this range looks like they're going to have ownership. I think everyone's basically below 5%, so we don't really care about any of the ownerships in this range. You got guys like Joel Damon, who at times I know could show some upside. Adam Schenk, we talk about him. Adam Stetson, he's another guy that can show some upside at times. There's definitely plays in this range to kind of take some stabs on. JVC, who are some of the guys that you're liking in this range?
I mean, Tosti definitely sticks out because of how well he's been playing, but I do think people are going to go to him, especially because, Wiley is all sucking Tosti's dick all the time. I mean, I think Tosti will get ownership, and I think he's a decent play. Damon, you mentioned, also a decent play. Emiliano Grillo, decent play. The other guys I might consider in this range, Vince Whaley, 6,800. And then down a little lower, if you're really digging, Stephen Fisk, 6,600. And Danny Walker, who was a hero at the Players, down at 65. I certainly think you could play him, but I wouldn't dig too much further than that. You're muted.
Oh, you ruined it. We're supposed to let him keep going. That's the one day we did it. We just stayed silent. He just kept going. It was like 30 seconds. We were just dead silent.
Yeah, I think I would have went longer, but I will say the chat's making fun of me for the way I say Tosti. I don't know. I say it wrong. But
how do you say it?
He said Tosti.
Tosti? I don't know.
Tosti.
Now I'm confused because the chat, I don't know. I think I said Toasty or Tosti. I don't know.
It's Toasty.
Toasty.
Same shit. The chat goes crazy for the pronouncing names wrong.
All the other golfers hate Toasty, though. That's one thing. So maybe fade the people.
Get in there.
Fade the people playing with Toasty because everybody hates him.
Maybe. What did you say, Tony?
Did they? Oh, dude, they should have paired him with Cantlay. That would be amazing. I need to check who's in this group. I'm about to look up the details.
It's going to be funny when it is Cantlay. So it won't be Cantlay, but.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I didn't. But maybe
he's with Chris Ventura and Jackson Suber, so don't play them.
Yeah, there's definitely some rough plays down in this lower 6K range. Even old Patton Kazire's down there. I feel like I haven't seen Patton Kazire in a minute. But all right, Tony, 6K range. Who are some of the guys you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's ugly down here. I definitely wouldn't play too much from this range, but Damon, I love Damon down in this range. Damon's actually played really good golf, and when he's in form, I know we've played him a bunch down here. I think he's a pretty good play. The more I look at it,
Bucket hat.
Sometimes he doesn't wear it. How does he decide when he's going to wear it?
He's only good when he wears it.
We need to know. It should be like where you check the roof in the baseball. You got to know.
Right. It's like in UFC when you don't know if a guy's going to wear a hat, and then he walks out with a hat, and you're like,
you know, you're done. Like
that guy from you're wearing the fucking hat, the crazy like Pancho Villa shit. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen, and they knocked him out.
Who's the golfer you're talking about?
Damon.
Oh, Damon. Yeah, I could look and see. Maybe I can see if there's like a picture of him on the practice course right now with.
He might do the okey doke though. His caddy likes to troll people. Maybe they wear it on the practice and then shift it up. Or
he would fuck with us if he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I could tweet it. You could tweet at him, be like, Joel, you wearing the bucket hat this weekend? Maybe he'll troll you. I don't know.
He might. So Trey Mullinax played pretty good last week. I can take a flyer on him. Just a ton of missed cuts in here, all around the board. Working my way down. Fisk, I like JBC. Fisk, I've played him a bunch. He got a fourth a few weeks ago. 6,600. I think he's a pretty good play. Danny Walker. I hate to take all the same names JBC said, but I do like him. Man, it's ugly down here. It's funny too because I'm always looking at this like smart golf info from the site, and Potty Harrington always pops, but it's because of all his champions like top 10.
Yeah,
Sticks off the page. Grampy out there grinding, but who else is down here? There's got to be my boy Tim Whiting. I've played him a bunch. He's terrible, but 6,300.
He can hit it though. Like he can fucking hit it.
I loved him at the PGA when we watched him. I mean, whatever. It's 6,300. John Pock, a Florida State boy, made the last couple cuts, finished 17th in Mexico. I think we can play him. I don't know. All these guys down here are flyers. I don't have any like crazy takes down here.
This is ugly down here.
Real ugly. I wouldn't hate with how good the mid-range is, like the 8, 9, 8K. I'm just not playing any 6.
I think the best builds are like where you don't go any lower than like, I guess Hostler. If you use Hostler, you can pretty much just play in all 9 and 8, and that is probably what my optimal is going to be.
Tony, what if I told you there was a former major champion that's from Texas that's in this field, and he is in the low 6K range? Would you be interested?
Who is it? Let me see. Let me look at the list.
You guys got to guess, JVC. Do you got to guess who this is?
Low 6Ks, and he's won a major, and he's from Texas.
Yeah, he's
from Texas.
He's a major champion. He's a Texas native.
I mean, I don't see any winners down here.
There is one there. Unless Google's lying to me.
Jimmy Walker? I don't know.
No, Jimmy Walker.
He won a major?
He won the PGA.
He did?
Yeah, he like the final round, he hit like 10 30-foot putts to win. Like it was crazy.
He's missed like 9 straight cuts this year. So like if you don't believe it,
because he got Lyme disease or some shit after that, and he just went to shit.
There's some
he was like the one that travels in his RV with his wife, right?
Right. That's probably why he got fucking Lyme disease.
There's also Francisco Molinari down in this range. I know he's been broken for a while, but
he's just old, man. Listen, Francesco Molinari is a fucking hero because I remember after he blew the Masters, they did an interview with him and they were like, "What is your goal in life, like after golf, like when you retire?" And he said, "I just want to sit in the sports book, drink espresso, and bet on soccer all day." That's what he said.
I need to play him out of respect.
I was like, all right, this is my guy.
Sounds like a good life.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's some bad golfers down here. A lot I don't even. I'm a T. Lawrence. Looks like Trevor Lawrence is playing. So there you go. I don't know who else is down here, but I doubt we're getting too much exposure. JVC, who is your highest owned guy in this range, and what is his ownership?
Like below 65?
Below. Let's go below 65. Who is your highest owned guy, and what is
zero? I have zero.
0? Okay, so you have no one in this range. Okay.
No. Last week I had this guy Taylor Dixon won at a 150, so his name is sticking out to me for that reason. But I don't have any right now.
All right, well, let's get to our winners. Let's give out our favorite guys up top, our favorite guys below. Tony, we'll save some bets for next week. I'll say that we don't need to bet on the Texas Valero Open unless you want to do my Cam Young
versus Max Homa.
I can't take Max Homa.
Okay, I tried to make a wager.
I'll hate myself.
It would be funny to watch, but
I'm gonna. The dumb thing here is I'm gonna play them both.
With your style, you have to. I mean, one of these.
Cam Young's only like 100-1. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, whew.
I'm playing Cameron Young. Fuck it, I'm gonna play him in the 3K just because. What you'll see that 1% on Cam Young, 1 out of 100.
Just play Homa with him. You get 2.
Yeah, just go full dumb. Cam
and then
Young
when it wins,
Homa.
though, those are the teams that it's like, my God, how did he play Homa and Cam Young on this team?
And it's
how did he
because
get
we
him that
talked
low
about how
owned?
stupid it is on this show.
Yeah. It won't be stupid when they win.
It's true.
all right, let's get to the winners though and pick our favorite guys. Up top, JBC, who do you got up top and who do you got down low as your winners?
Corey Connors at the top, which I think is going to be a common opinion. In the middle, we're going with Gary Woodland. And then at the bottom, Bo Hostler. And at the shit bottom, Stephen Fisk.
All right, there it is. Those are the guys from JBC. Tony, I'll let you go next. Who's your guy up top and who's your guy down low?
The 2 guys at the top, I'll just do 2 because I think they're clearly the best. And they are the chalkiest, but Connors and Akshay are just like 2 just mint plays for me where I have on my main team, I almost have to play those 2. They both have won this event and they both got incredible form. And I think they're 2 of the most talented guys in this field. So they check all the boxes for me. And then the ugly one that I know we talked about that I just like this week is Eric Cole. He's 7,200. I just think he's a really good play. And I'm sure he'd screw me because of how he always does, but I like him this week.
All right.
He's a terrorist. Eric Cole's a terrorist.
Yeah. He isn't getting into form, so that's what Tony likes. So we'll see how he does this week. Up top, I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood. Here's the take. If there's an event that people aren't going to try at, but there's one where he'll try here, right? You know why? Because he's never won on tour. So he's going to want to get that win. So if he's in contention, he'll be grinding for it. So we'll go with Fleetwood, but I do agree Connors is probably the best guy up top. And then I'll go with Ryan Fox. I've been riding him out the past couple of weeks. I'm going to keep going with Ryan Fox. So he will be my cheap guy that I will go with at 7.5K. So those are the options there. We got Riles joining. Riles, thanks for joining the show. A little late, but hit that like if you could for us. We would appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel to find out when we go live with all of our content over at Run Pure Sports.
I mean to win a There was my favorite show I've ever done at Run Pure was when Cam Cole came on and talked about golfers in Texas, all those different things. Like I laughed for an hour and a half straight at some of the stuff this dude was saying.
That was a good show. If I go back to the archives and find
we'd get canceled for sure. Cam definitely said some things that weren't appropriate, but I did laugh at them.
We were premium, so that was good.
He had all the one-liners going.
We might have to run that back next week on the premium.
Yeah, well,
we are due for a Cam show, and for the Masters, yes, yeah, I concur with that. We need a Cam show. We'll go premium. We can go premium for a show, and for the Masters, and lock him up, but let him have some reins a little bit.
You gotta get a couple drinks in him as well. So make sure that happens. That'll make it a good time. All right, we gotta get out of here. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the show. For me, Mango and JBC and Big T. We'll see you guys later.